It is yet to. Okay. All right. So good morning once again. So we are going to continue from where we stopped the last class. Yes. So how many of you have tried to do something in addition to what we have already done? Have anyone attempted anything? Okay. So without wasting more time, let's proceed. So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to locate our server and then start it up. Remember our server, right? Yes. XAMPP. The XAMPP server. I have to locate it and then start it. Okay. So once the control panel is up, you click on start. You start the Apache server, and as well as you also start MySQL. Oh, wow. So next, we are going to open our web browser so that we can preview what we've done. If you remember, we have to locate our project file, right? And first of all, to locate our project file, we have to know the address of the server we are running. So in this case, we are running on localhost, right? So you can type localhost on your browser, or you can use the IP for the localhost, which is 127.0.0.1. So let's use localhost forward slash localhost forward slash. If you remember the name of our project folder, the name of our folder was e-commerce system. You know, press OK, enter. Means. So remember, the last class we stopped somewhere here. Am I right? All right. So people online, are you with us? Yes. So we are going to continue from here. So are we all on the same page? All right. Okay. Are you having challenges there, Hajar? Forward slash. Okay, no, it's not network. You do not start the server. You have to start the server. Okay, just come here to search. Open it. Okay. You have to start. Okay. Start. Start. So are we all now on the same page? Yes. Okay, so you can refresh it. Sorry? No, you have to start. You have to start the server. You have to start the server. Oh my God. Power outage. All right. So, so sorry about that. So how do we do now? Because I don't want to leave you behind. Okay, okay. All right, sure. That's another option. But not just following. I want you to be doing it, to be implementing it while I'm doing it. That is the one of the major problems. All right. So in your own case, then you have to then after starting the server, you go to your browser. Yes. You go to your browser and then you refresh. So moving on. Next, then you locate the actual the source code files, your project folder, and then open it so that you can continue coding. Okay, so in my own case, this computer, C, right? Program files. No, it's not program files. I guess it's still under C. Don't forget XAMPP, htdocs, right? And then, e-commerce. So we have index. This page that is loading, this one is the index page. Remember, I mentioned earlier, in your project folder, you are going to have a number of files, right? For different screens, for different interfaces. But the index page usually is like the home page. So it is the page that the server will know as the first page to load. Maybe you are designing a system like now we have the system. You are designing. Okay, let me use an example of an ordinary website. When you go to www.mybusiness.com, right? You see the homepage appears, right? And then you have our products or maybe our services. You have gallery, you have contact us, you have other pages. So all these files will be in the same folder, right? But when you go to that www.com, the first page that opens is the index. So by professional naming convention, your index page is usually the first that loads. And then any other pages are the ones you call, are the ones you link from your index page. So that is how it is. Index is usually the first. So now inside our project folder, we only have one file, that's the index, and then we have another folder called the images, right? So from this point, we are going to create other files. So we can do that from our VS Code. So now let me open the let me open our VS Code. Okay, so mm, e-commerce system. Okay, this is the project. Okay, so are we on the same page, please? Your what? Your browser is not opening. Okay, let's look at it. Open the browser. Pull up the browser. Is this the name of the name? Okay, close it, close it. Close the door. But the last time, were you able to load it? You were able to load it the last time. Say your company like you have three number. Sure. You know, okay, so I think what you did, I'm not sure. I'm sure maybe probably it's inside your code and then another system. So, good morning. It's redirected. So if it's not, so let's look at the code. Open the code, please. Open the source code. Let's see. Maybe it's redirecting from the source code. All right.
My SQL is not starting.
It's not starting. Okay, I'm coming. It's not starting. Most likely there's something that is illegal. But the last time, did you like talk to the server? Let's be this way, did you talk Just a second. what imports MySQL is using, and one of them is this one. So let me check. When you can check the ports, what numbers that MySQL use, and then you can change the ports. What you know also the MySQL is different. You can go to your browser. You can go to your browser and type localhost. Just localhost as your project name. All right, please, our people online, please, a little bit patience. We are trying a little bit patience, please. We are trying to. Yes. Okay. Did you start your server? After starting your server, did you go to your browser and then yeah, call your page? Okay, so don't worry. Just start your server. If you start your server, yeah, disarm, right? Yes, start Apache and MySQL. Okay. So, how many of you are we together with here? As in, okay. All right. So we are back. So let me recap. Let me recap, please, so that we can really move on, because there's so much to do. Actually, we need to pace up a little, because the time frame we have, we might not be able, if we go at this speed, we might not be able to finish what we want to finish, right? So we might need to pace up a little bit. So first of all, I said when you're here, you start your server, right? Go to Apache, start it, MySQL and Apache. If you start it, then you go to your web browser, you go to localhost, you type localhost, and then the name of your project folder. It will call up. It will call up your first index page. This is what we have done last week. We are at this point right now. So and now I said go and open your source file. Your source file is writing your code. So yeah, that is that. So that is where we are. So from here we are going to proceed. We are going to proceed. So next, what we are going to do, this is only, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, in your project folder, you have only one file. We have only one file, which is the index file, right? This is the index file. It's the one that is appearing on the page when we call the project folder's name. This is it. So now, because of the nature of project we are working on, if you remember, I said we are going to build an e-commerce website. So next, probably we are going to look at another page that is important. We are going to look at cart, adding to cart, right? So let's look at that. To create another page, you can just come here under your project here. You can click new file, and then you can name it. Let's say add to cart, add underscore to underscore cart, CART. Did I spell it right? Okay. Dot PH, and then press enter. Let's continue from here. So now I'm creating another file, right? Aggregate.php. So it's now here. So the first thing I want to do for every time, the first thing I do is try to ensure there's a connection to my database. Is try to ensure there's always a connection to my database at every point in page, because everything that is coming or going is going to the database. Yes, please. There's a, you see this place, it says new file. All right, click on it. If you click on it, you see something like this appear, and then you now write add to cart, add underscore to underscore cart dot php. Sorry, please. Yes. Ensure that you are creating this file not inside these images. Please, not inside the images. Yes, it should be in this, yeah, with the index file. It should be in the same with the index file. Probably you might want to click around here. You might want to click around and say create new, or maybe add new, something like this. Sorry. Right click and say new file. Yeah. Okay, you can just use this one, the new file icon here. Okay. So like I mentioned, every time you want to start a new page, a new screen, ensure that you have a database connection. And to do that, of course, you have to use the backend languages, right? For that, the backend language will have to ensure your connection between your UI, which is the front end, as well as the back end, right? So for now, in this case, we are going to do like this, just like we did previously. Angular brackets, right? Close angular bracket. Then this question mark, right? And another question mark, right? This, right? Then PHP, and then you press enter. Why I'm doing this, like I mentioned earlier, this is best programming practice, conventional, because wherever you open a bracket, wherever you open a tag, you have to close it. And so that you don't get confused, it's better as you are opening it, you are closing it. And then whatever it is you want to program, you program in between what you open and close, the brackets you open and close. Because when you say you want to open it and then go to the end and close it, you will get lost. You'll be lost. There's no way. Most especially if you're working on a very, very complex project. So now, the next thing we are going to do is to create a variable, right? $con equals to new MySQLi, then localhost, right? Then root, then this, And then the name of our database, what did we even call the database? E-commerce DB. That is the name, that is this. So that is this. I explained what this. I explained what this was, what this means. So who can remember like this line? I explained what it is and everything. They explain everything, what it means, what it stands for, what does it do. Every single. Yes.
Okay. The local host is the that's the host. We are hosting it in the local host.
Yes, right, true.
The root is from the root is where that is the name of the username. Yes, the username. Yeah.
True.
But there's no password.
This one is the password.
It's password, which is blank, right?
Yes.
And then the is the database name. Don't always forget this at the end of every line. And at the end of every line, don't always forget that. Is your server up and running now? The database. Okay, yeah, what? On installing it. Okay. Probably there's another software that is blocking the port it's using. That is why. 07, right? Okay, that's another alternative for my SQL. Okay, yes, we can use 3307. I wasn't sure, but I know 3306 and yes. So after this, we now continue. We now give another condition. If right connection CONNECT connect error, open this and undo die. So if you remember, we did all this the last time. Connection connection failed. So basically all this we have done in that last page, the index, and we are doing it again now here. This is to ensure that at every point in time, each and every single page is communicating with the database. This is why each and every page, whenever we open, whenever we redirect, each and every page is there's a connection with the database, so it's communicating with the database. Yes. So that is just it. So and then after this, then we now continue with the function we want. So the thing now is, normally this, if you remember, this is where we're trying to add to cart, right? So normally by default, when we are going to cart, we are taking a particular product, right? And then we're adding it to a cart. So which means we're putting that particular product. So to make reference to that particular product in the cart, so we now have to say like, okay, $product ID. Remember our database. Let's open our database. Local hosts. Let's just have local host, right? And then we come to PHP, my admin. So it's a bit slow. The system is a bit slow opening the. Okay. Okay. So it has opened. So this is our database. Remember the database we created the other time. Yes. So we have two tables in our database. We have products. We have user table, right? So let's go to product table. This what we want to do is product related. Okay. In product table, you see we have serial, we have name, we have price, we have description, we have quantity, and we have product ID. Product ID, if you remember, like I mentioned, we made it unique because each and every product in that database, it has an ID. There's no two products that can be of the same type. So in the system, whenever we are trying to make reference to any product, we are using this product ID. This is tied to a particular product. So what we will do here is we now go back to our code. I'm trying to show you something regarding product. So it will be this, which means that's the product ID. That field product ID. So we now do equals to dollar underscore get, right? Dollar underscore get. And undo ID. So basically what it's trying to say is we are getting the ID. We are getting the product ID of that particular product we selected from here. From here. So we are getting the product ID. Okay, let me do something. Let's add the add to cart. Let's add the add to cart function button so that it can appear from here. We try it and see. So now go back to our index source code. Our index source code here, right? Okay. So and then enter on our product source code. We press enter. So we now make it a reference. We now create a reference. A, right? A href. So now we now close it. We now close it A. So basically in HTML, if you want to make a reference, if you want to create a link, let's say a particular word, okay, you want to link maybe a word or to another page or to somewhere or a button, you use href. You use the A tag, A href. So we now say equals to. We now say equals to, right? Then we now reference the page, which is this page up here. This one, yes, we now reference it here. Then we now say add underscore to underscore card dot php. So this automatically it will reference us. If we click on it, it will reference us to the add to cart page. That is just referencing, but yes. Sorry. Yes, for it to send, right? So it's now so now let's try this. Let's try this for example. Okay, let me add add to add to cart, right? All right. So let me save and then refresh. Okay, I refreshed. So look at this. You see here it says add to cart, right? And when I okay, it's not linking. Okay, let me just add it. Let me just close this thing. So basically, okay, let me just so basically from here, when I click on this add to cart, right? So it will just redirect me to this page we are trying to create now. The add to cart page we are trying to create. So let me just link it properly so that So it's AHREF. Sorry, yours is redirected. Okay, yes, you should redirect. You should redirect. Sorry. Yes, thank you very much. It's href. This place. That's where I made the mistake. It's REF. Yes, href. So now, if I restart, sorry, if I refresh, you see it have turned blue. And when I put my mouse over it, you see it has turned to a finger, finger, which means it's clickable. So now, if I click on this, it will redirect us to this page, which we are just about to start now, right? So that is what we are. So that is what we are going to do. So this, I can change it to a button. I can do it anyhow I want. I can leave it as a text. I can leave it as a button. You know, yes. So we all do all that. We are going to make we are going to make the design very very sleek, but it's gradual. So, but remember, this one is just casually redirecting us. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. Please go on. People online, please. Are you with us? Are you with us on this? Is there any other? Is there any issue? Any problem online? Are we together? All right. Okay. Okay. So thank you. So our friends online are good. They are good with us. So now, like I said earlier, like this, it's just casually redirecting us. However, but we wanted to direct us to redirect us with a certain information, with a certain product, about a certain product. So to do that, what we will do after this, they will now add we now add a question mark, right? They will now say ID, right? Equals to, just equals to. Then we now do like this. We now do the normal PHP tag. So every time we want to evoke a function, a backend function, we have to call it PHP inside. So now, what we are doing now is, as you can see, we are calling it here a PHP function inside HTML. That is what we are doing. We are invoking a PHP function inside a HTML. It's just like weaving. You understand? Just like we are weaving. Yes, intertwining. That is what we are doing. So now we now say echo, ECHO. We now say echo dollar row, right? Row. We now say ID, and then we now close it here. So basically, this ID, sorry, this is one. This should be one bracket. That is like this. Okay. So now this ID. So what we are saying, echo means it should send. You know, English what they say echo. If you say you shout and then you'll be hearing woo, 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 woo. So what we are saying now, as it is redirecting us to this page, right? You should echo the row ID. You should echo this ID, this product. So this ID you are seeing here is the one we are getting now here. You understand? That's why I say product ID dollar equals to dollar underscore get. So it's the one we are getting now. So it is with this now again we will use to populate the information on our add to cart page. So let's go and see how we do it. So now here, right? So we now close it. Okay. So what we will do now is we are going to check the first thing we usually do is to check if the product is already in the if the product is already on the cart. So let's go dollar results equals to dollar con. Mind you, I mentioned something last week about conventional practice, right? About good practice. For every single thing you want to do, it's a good practice to comment your code to show that every line of code, every block of code, this is what it does. This is the function it performs and all that. So for that, I will comment here to give to say what it does, what that block of code does. Okay, I didn't do the earlier one because we've already done that before previously, and I believe we all know that now. So now let's say check if the product is already in the cart. So we don't want to add a product that is already in the cart. There will be duplicates, right? So we don't want duplicates. If it's already in the cart, we don't want it inside the cart again. So it's already a duplicate. So now what we do now, first of all, is to check if the product already exists inside the cart. So now it goes like this. Follow me. Then we now query, right? So how we check? First of all, we have to query the cart table to see if it exists there. If we found it there, then we now notify and say, okay, no, this product already exists. If it doesn't exist, if you can't find it there, then we now add it inside. So yes, that is how it's going to be. So we now do a query, and the query goes like this. Oh, sorry. Select star. Select star from cart. Select star from cart where product ID product underscore ID is equals to dollar product ID. So now we are querying the database to check if a product exists inside the product ID. So what the query is saying, we created a new variable here, right? We call that variable product ID, right? And then inside this variable, we are getting this value that was passed from the page, right? Index, and then we are putting it inside here. So what we are saying in this query that we're saying, so we are saying it should select everything from the cart table, right? Where product ID, this is the database column. This one, if you remember, this particular one, product ID, is the database column, which is this, right? And this that says equals to product ID is this variable we are creating. This one, we can name it anything. You understand? We can name this one anything, and this is going to be this. That is it. We can name it anything. However, we decide to name it product ID. So this is, don't get confused. This is the database column, all right? And this is the variable we created that is collecting, that is getting the ID from the product ID from the previous, yes. So that is just this. So now we don't have the cat we don't have the cat table, right? So let's create and the database. Let's create and populate the table cat. Okay, so we can now come here inside the database. We can now come here and then create. Click on new. After clicking on it, we have table name. We can now say cat, C-A-R-T, right? So for the cat, we can have let's say cereal also, right? Cereal. We can have let's have the product ID because it should have product ID. So in this case, what do we call product ID? Who can tell me? Sorry? Say what do we call the product column product ID now in this case? Sorry? Foreign key. Sorry, primary key. Yes. Right? All right. No. It's not auto increment. What is auto increment? What is auto increment is the serial. The serial number should be auto increment.
Primary, so we should cancel that primary. For example, now on the serial, if you click the auto increment, it will automatically create primary under the
Yes, it becomes the primary. Sorry, and then if you do that, it becomes the primary key, and then this one will become what is it called? Foreign key. Yes, because this one is already a key on another table, so it will become foreign key. Yeah. So if you want, you don't. If it's a matter of if you want, you don't have to use the serial. So let the product key be their foreign key. So that which means that that particular table, everything on that particular table, is tied. This column is tied to the column of another. So that is basically what it means. That is basically what it means. So we can decide to say what could be on the cat table quantity. Okay, let's say quantity, right? Quantity, and then what? I think that should be it, right? That should be it. Quantity and all that. So let's this one. No, already this one will fetch the product name from the product table. Every information about the product is on the product table, right? So if there's anything, this one will just make reference to that. And then if there's any need, you call the information. Yes. So let's make what is it called? Voucher, and then quantity should be integer numbers, right? Okay. So for the voucher length, let's give it 50. Let's give it 50, right? And for the quantity, let's say 3. I think that should be it for now, right? Then probably we can say, okay. We can say save. So now we now have the cart table. We now have the cart table. It's here. That is the cart table. So let's now go back to our source here, right? Okay. So after this, so we now say if result equals if result equals to $con. Sorry, no. If result num rows greater than 0, that should be the condition, right? Okay. So sorry. Number of rows. So basically, what this particular condition is statement is saying, this is the result, but we are creating a variable result, and inside there, and then we are searching the database here, querying the entire table, looking for this result where this product ID is matching this column. If there's, it should return us the result inside this place. It should put the result inside here, and then with the condition we are saying if result rows, right, number of rows in terms of the result in terms of number of rows is greater than 0, which means it exists. If it's greater than 0, then it exists, right? So that is what we are saying. So then we now say, okay, let's add the comment first. Update quantity. So to update the quantity, we now do $con, right? Sorry, $con query query query, and then so we now say update cat, which is the table, update cat bar, then set quantity quantity equals to quantity plus 1, quantity plus 1, where product ID product underscore ID equals to dollar product ID. So now what we are saying here in this line is, if the result is 0, right, for querying the database for that particular product is 0, then you should update the cart table where that particular product, you should update it with 1, where that particular product, sorry, where that particular product ID is equals to the column in the database, right? So that is basically what it's saying. So we now then else 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 $con query insert into cart product underscore ID, comma, quantity VALUES values dollar product underscore ID. So now this else condition, first we have the if condition, right? And now we have a if it's greater than 0, which means it's like it exists. If it's greater than 0, it exists. Then you should update the cart by 1, plus 1. But if this condition is not greater than 0, which means it is 0, right? Then that product means that product is not inside that card table, then you should insert it. You understand? That is what this condition, this entire is greater than 0. Greater than 0 is 1. It's 2, right? So, but the computer will take it as 1. If it's greater than 0, which means it is 1, which means it exists, then you should update it by 1. You are trying to add the product that already exists in the card. So you are trying to update it by 1. However, if this condition is not greater than 0, which means it is equals to 0, right? Which means that product does not exist inside that table, then you should insert it. You understand the logic? That's one. Yes, please. Yes, because it's a foreign key. So by calling the product ID, every single thing about the product, you can call it from that product. Yes, please. Sorry? Any of them the foreign key? I think I mentioned it, right? We did. The product ID. Yes.
We mentioned it, but what I think what you're trying to say is under index there was no selection of
Okay. We didn't do it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, so let's do that now. I actually forgot. So you can now change it. You can now change the table. You can now edit the table. Click on change. No, is it change? Change, right? Okay, click on change. Mine is not responding. So in terms of index, where is the index? Yours is not loading. Okay, so in that case, let's drop the table. Let's drop the table and then yes. So we can say or drop the column and then create it again, add it again. Okay. Yeah, the product ID. Yes. So you see here we have add 1, right? Okay, we can now say okay after serial. So we can now say go. So it will give us a provision. Then you may now add the product ID, right? The ID is going to be a voucher, right? So the index is should be foreign key. It should be unique. Make it unique. So, after dropping the table, let me go back. All right, go to the cards table. Go to the cards table. The structure. So are you here? You're here, right? Okay, we've dropped the table. Are you having this 2? All right. So down here you see add. It says 1, right? Column. So you can decide. There's another option. It says where you want to add the column, the position you want to add the column. Okay. So you can say after serial, which means it will come maybe after serial. That's where you want to add the column, right? And then you can press this go. You click on go. So you now add the column name, which is the product ID, right? And then we have the data type. It should be a voucher. Yes. Then 50, right? That was what you mentioned. And then for the index, make it unique. And then OK. When you've done that, and then you click save. You click save. So now if you look at it up here, it has generated, it says table has been altered successfully, right? And then it has generated the SQL equivalent of the operations that we did. So yes, so let's go back to our. So is everyone here? Is everyone with us here? Okay, who is not here? All right, so all right. Our friends online, are you with us? All right. Okay, so we're moving gradually. So you are not following. Eh?
Nobody used it from the beginning, so I have to start.
Okay.
So I'm just listening to you. Maybe during that 1 hour interval, just use.
Okay. So you, how far? Are you good? All right. All right. So can we proceed? Okay. Somebody said no. All right. Sorry, having an issue? Okay, I'm coming. A minute. It's a local host slash local host. You want to load your page? Okay. So come up with this. Sure. 1 2 7. Sorry. Just click on the address bar. No. This page. The address bar. Please. Okay. And type it. Local slash. Pass this. Click on this. Yes. Okay, just HP one.
I tried the connectivity, but I think it is connection error.
Just that 1 2 7 0 0.
Yes.
Well, we're having some challenges. We're wasting a lot of time, actually. The people have problems. So, how many of us are together? We are moving together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming. Can we proceed? Okay. So we can proceed, right? We just have to leave some people behind because of the not only the time, because of the nature of their problems. Some of them, this is their first time installations and all that. So let's proceed. We will still come. We will still be coming back. So after this, right? So we can now come here. We can say header header. Say location cart .php. So now let's create another file also. Let's create another file. Click here, right? So let's say let's name the cat .php. So you see the project is growing gradually. We are growing gradually. We are adding files to it. We are adding files. We are growing gradually. Yeah, we're adding another file here. Click yes, please. Yes, cart.php. Okay. So now let's do the normal, what we normally do up here for the PHP, like this.
Sorry, sir. Can I capture the follow and the
Sorry. Okay, you want to capture this one? All right, please go on. So remember, like I said, every page you have to ensure it's connected. You have to ensure every single page has a connection to the database. It communicates with the database. So at every page you have to repeat the same database connection method. Yes. So to save time, right? Let's just copy and paste. Or do you want us to go? Or so that you master it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So let's do it. We are here to learn. So let's continue learning. The more you do, the more you get better at it. So to go for the database connection, right? First of all, you have to create a variable called con, which stands for connection. You can name it anything. You can even type the connection. You can do it. You can name it anything. So con, right, equals to new. So you are creating this variable. So everything after this, right, you are putting it inside, because this equals to in programming. In this program, equals to is called an assignment operator, right? So every other thing after the equals to, the value, you are assigning it inside the variable. And double equals to stands for equal. That's what actually stands for equals to in programming. So now let's do the database connection. New, right? My SQLI, then the local host. So in this case, I'll use 127.0.0.1. It's equivalent to using the word local host that we were using before. It's equivalent. So next we have the username, right, for the database, which is root, ROOT, comma, and then we have the password. Remember, to the database, to the server, right? And then name. Next we have the database name, ECOMMERC, e-commerce underscore DB, right? And then you close it. So that is it. And then we move on to the condition. If our database, if there's a connection, if the connection is successful, if con like this, sorry, not equals to, connect underscore error, right? And then this, we now have die. This, we do it like this. Connection failed. $con. So let me do a little recap. This, you are connecting to the server and database, right? And then every other, all this information you are retrieving for the connection, you are putting it inside this variable, and then here you are given a condition to ensure that the connection is successful. To ensure the connection is successful, right? So if the connection is not successful, it should return a notification for you that says connection failed. So that is basically what we did here. Yes. What does it mean? It means if the connection is if the connection is not successful, it should return you the message. That's what the die is always like if the connection is has failed. Yes, that is just what it does. That's the password. Their password to the server, to the database. So now we don't have a password to it. That is why it's blank. But if you have a password, then you can, yeah, if the database is passworded, then you put the password. Yes. So now what we'll do now, let's fetch the items. Let's fetch items from the cart. Fetch item from the cart. So to fetch the item from the cart, we are going to query the database. So let's look at the logic. Let's look at the logic we are going to use to query the database. So we are going to query the database. We are going to get the information from the cart table. Remember, this is the cart. You are viewing the carts. So we are going to get information such as the product name, all right, the product price, the quantity. Those are the kind of the key information that we are supposed to have in the cart, right? Product name, the quantity, right, as well as the price. Are you ready? Okay.
Why do we jump this line?
Okay. Actually, there's no reason why we jump the line. It's just to make it clearer. You can decide not to jump the lines. It's just like I want to make it easy to see and understand. You understand? So you can decide not to leave any line. You can decide to leave lines. It depends on you. Yes. So by the grace of God. So to do that, always we are going to create a variable. We are going to create a variable also, result, right? Result equals to $con, like this, and then query. You know what query means, right? The word, as in query in database. All right. So we are ensuring our connection is fine, and then we are querying the database. So to query the database, so we are going to use the logic. Let's look at select. Remember when we were talking about the query last time. If you want to query a particular table, all the information from a particular table, you do select star from the table, right? And then it will pop up everything from the table. And if you're trying to select a particular item from the table, you do select. Yeah, you call the, just like we did here. Just like we did here. Where did we do it? Is it this? Okay, no, it's the card table, right? Okay, select star from card table where product ID equals to this, which means we are looking for a particular product. So now, and to do for a particular, if you want this will bring out all the columns. If you do star, it will bring out all the columns, right? But to make it a specific column, you can say select name, phone number, email address from the employee table, right? Or from staff table, to be specific. Yeah, you specify the columns. You can do that. But wherever you see star, it means like all the columns and like everything. So now, because we are dealing with the cart table, so we are going to say select cart. Sorry.
I thought we are being specific in this one. Select star from category product ID. I thought we just want to select only the product ID.
Yes.
But then why are we now select from select star card and all when it's going to bring out the whole table in that case?
Okay. So now the thing is, when you're adding to cart, like it's your own like your own personal cart, right? So it will bring out everything, all the products under your profile inside the cart, right? if you bring down all the columns. But for now, what we are trying to do in this particular, we are trying to maybe write checkout. We are trying to check out. So we want to ensure that every product has a particular, that initially it's all the carts. In the carts you can have different products. You can have shampoo, soap, you can have biscuit, everything. But for now, we want to ensure that okay, to look at the quantity for every product. Like okay, how many soap do you have? How many biscuit was there in the cart and all that. So very important. Uh, cart dot id product dot name, right? Product dot price, cart dot quantity from cart, from cart, join products on cart dot product underscore id equals to products dot id. Okay, it's back. So look at this query. It's becoming more complex. So look at this query. Okay, somebody look at this query. Sorry, these cards, do we have ID? Is it ID or product ID? Let me confirm. Product ID. Okay, dot product underscore ID. Okay, so look at this query. We are trying to fetch the items from the cart. So look at this query. It's a little bit complex. So we said select cart dot product ID. Products, comma, products dot name, comma, products dot price, comma, cart dot quantity from cart, join products on cart dot product ID equals to product dot ID. Who can assist us explain what this query means?
I will just put that dollar sign after because product ID.
No. Who can assist us and explain what this query? Because we did not create any variable like that, so that is why. Sorry. Okay. So I'm talking about the query. Who can help us explain? My friends online, anybody can explain the query? What does it do, or what it's going to do? Somebody wants to check, please.
since we are trying to use two tables from our database, the
Mm-hmm.
product table and the cart table, we needed just few items. That's the under the column product ID in cart, and then price from product, quantity from cart. That's why we need to combine them. Then we join from cart, then join product. So we are bringing them together on cart.product ID is equals to product ID, the variable.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are getting all this information from, we are getting this particular information from two different tables. Remember, we have product tables and we have cart, right? So what it's saying select cart dot product ID. This is the table, the cart, right? Select this, give us this, what is it called? This column, this table, this column name from this table, products. If you remember, that's the name of our table, right? Uh, Sorry, I'm coming, please. Let me quickly connect it. Yeah, dear share disconnected. Sorry. JTG L M K S. Sorry, what happened? Oh, sorry. Sorry. We're in the same network. Sorry, please. Let's get our projector up. All G L M K A S. Too many attempts to connect failed with an incorrect projection code. Okay. So let me quickly explain that if you have written the query, so what basically is saying, just like our friend here explained, we are using two different tables. We are fetching, and these two different tables, they have something in common. They have the product ID in common. All of them have product ID. So we are using that same product ID to call the information on that product related to that particular product from two different tables. So that is what we are doing. So that is what we are doing. So it will just fetch the product ID from the cart table, and then use the same product ID to fetch the name of the product, the price from the products table, as well as the quantity from the quantity table. That is just it. So that is basically what that query is. So now let's create another variable. You're not seeing my screen, friends here. So let me try reconnecting it again. Is it 5 minutes? Uh, is it 5 minutes? It says connect after 5 minutes. So let's see. J E G L M K A S. It's not yet. All right. So let me just a little bit continue so that I'll when the projection is back, I will take you through. Well, if online people, let's continue, and then so you create another variable, then the total, right, equals to 0. So the variable you are creating total, which means the total price the of the total price due to you that you have to pay. So you're going to create another variable. You initialize it to 0. Normally, you initialize that variable to 0. So that is what we do. So from this point, we now go and start designing how card to look. So now all this that we have done so far is the back end. We are dealing with the back end. That is all we're doing. So now let's start creating the front end for our card, how it will look like. So for that, let's start doing the HTML. Uh, yeah, the screen is not showing. I will have to reconnect after 5 minutes. So that is what it said. Don't worry. Don't worry. I will come back. I'll take you back. Is it up to 5 minutes? Let's try again. Let me refresh this code. Okay, so let me try FZY A U E P U. All right. No. So we are back. All right. So is that responding? Okay. Yeah, finally. So it's going to be a bit slow. So at this point, right? We've done all the necessary we are going to do the database connection, right? Ensuring the connection, and then the querying. So now we've done querying, calling the backend for that product. So what we are going to do now, displaying it, how it will look like when we display all these products, the cart. So now let's look at it. So here the HTML. Let's go on. Let's start the front end design. Like HTML long equals to en, right? Okay. So remember, HTML, it has a what do we call it? Sections. There's head, right? Sorry, HEAD. Then you close the head, like I told you. Good programming practice. You open a tag, you close it. You open a comma, you open a bracket, you close it. So everything you close it. So in the head, you have title, TITLE, right? You close it, then you close the title tag, TITLE. Close the title tag. So let's call the title cart page, right? So now let's go from the head, we go to the body, BODY, right? Okay, then BODY. So we are now closing the body. Yes. So our design, our interface, our page, everything, we are going to design it inside this body, inside this body tag. That's where we are going to. So we can say, because it's what is it called, a cart page, we can create a h1, right? We can create a h1, uh, h1, and then you close the h1. Always when you open, you close. You can say your cat, you can call that your cat. So after that, we are going to create a table. We are going to create a table. So the table, the products are going to be displayed in this table. So the table, we have, of course, the product name, right? The product price, the quantity, and then our total money, our total listing. So what we will now do by creating the table, how this is how we create a table with the table tag table. We now close it also. We now close the table. Okay, table, yeah. We now close the table. So in HTML, while creating a table, there's table header, there's table row, and there's table data. Show you how to use it. So for what is it called? For the header, for the row, sorry, for the head, for the, what is it called? Oh, network. Network is so poor right now. So let me try reconnecting. Sorry. Uh, B E U Q T E J E. Ah ah. And same network. Yes. So it says I should try after 5 minutes. I don't know if we have to wait for it. Too many failed attempts to connect with an incorrect. That's a lie. Very big lie. The client has been locked out. Try again in 5 minutes. So yes, the connection will just have to wait for like 5 minutes. All right. Okay, I'm coming. A minute. Sorry. Uh, So we soon. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. Yes, let's try to connect you once again. KV K VH W K. Okay. Okay. So let's move on. So we have a table. This this will create this table tag will create the table for us, right? But we have to specify the columns. We have to specify the what we are creating about the table. So we have table row. We have tr. Sorry, we create we create a tag tr, right? And then we close the tag tr. Tr stands for table row. It stands for row. You know rows like this, right? That is row like this, and then column like this. Rows from left to right, horizontal, and then columns vertical, right? So it goes. Then inside this tr, we now create what we call, because first of all, now we have to do with the header, right? So we create a tag, this tag th also, and then we close the th. The th stands for table header. So the table header. So we now say product. We now say product name. Or let's say or let's just say product, right? So we now create another table header, th, right? And then we close another th, the table header. We now say what are we going to add? We now say the quantity, right? And then we do another table header, th, and then we close the th, table header. We now say price, price, right? Okay, and then we do another th, table header. Then we now say total, total. We now close it with the th, another th for the table header. So that we are done with that. That's the table header. That's the header of the table. So we now create another inside the same table. We now create another tr. We now create another tr, which stands for table row. Remember, right? And then we close the tr. And then inside this tr, usually we usually have td, which means table data. That's what td means. So for every column within the row, we now put a td for it. That is for table data to be signing for this. But in this case, because what the information we will be displaying on the table will be coming from the database, right? And with that, it has to be connecting with the back end. The back end will be the one that will be serving us with the information to display on that table. So what we are going to do in this case, we are going to create a logic that will fetch us the data from the back end, and then we now use the HTML front end design to displays. Okay, so to do that, inside the tr, so we now create another tag. Hi. So AQ X AQ XP BP Li. Hi. It's saying so it's giving us another 5 minutes again. I don't know how we are going to do this. Oh yeah. Okay, let me write the code and then I'll explain it. And then I'll explain it right when it's back, so that you can also follow while explaining. You see, like that, we keep going with our online people, so we don't waste nobody's time. So we now create the logic, the PHP as usual, PHP like this, like this, PHP, right? So because that's used to call it from the back end. That's what we are going to use to call it from the back end. So it will be like this, while $row equals to $results fetch a sock this. You create another variable, total item underscore total is equals to $row for price, PRICE, times $row quantity, that's a quantity, that is that, and then $total plus equals to $item $item underscore total. Underscore total. All right, so let's try connecting and see now. I don't think it's up to 5 minutes. Okay. KVEK, KVEK, VH, WK. Okay, so we are back. Okay. So remember, I said we are going to call we are going to call the products from the back end from the server. So after the header, we now pass in the logic, the back end communication that will fetch the back end query that will fetch us the product. So we are going to we have done that. I have done that here using the back end code using the PHP. So it goes like this, right? Here, while row equals to result, fetch ASOC, right? Then item total equals to row times row price times row quantity. Are you getting it? So now it's trying to calculate our total. Sorry? It's trying to calculate our total. It's trying to calculate our total here. So the total is going to be the price times quantity. So that is what the total is going to be. So that is what we've done here. So from this point, we now go to our table row. We now do table data TD. We now close the TD. We now close the TD. So within this TD, all we will do it now, because we've already made the query before the rows, right? So what we are going to do now, it have returned the result. So all we need to do now is to display the result. It's to display the result. So by displaying the result, we are also going to use the backend code, backend programming language, the PHP. So are you up to this level? So can I scroll forward so that you stop raising your head? Okay. So what we'll be doing from here, we now start echoing. Okay. PHP. So now it's inside the HTML table code. We are now also integrating PHP. You see?
What does that solve?
What does ASOC? Okay, basically we are telling the database it should fetch associated data that involve this. Data that is associated with this. So that is what it's saying. So now we are going to echo ECHO. We are going to echo $row. So inside that table, we are going to echo the row. So that is what it's saying. We are going to echo the rows for quantity and the rows for price. So echo $. Okay, now we are talking about the product, right? To display it in the name. So we are going to echo the name of the product, right? this, and then we now create another table data, TD. We now close the table data. We now close the table data, and then we now create another PHP tag, right? PHP tag, and then we now echo the row, $row. Look at this table. We are going to make it in this order. So now it's going to be quantity. After the product name, it's going to be quantity. Quantity is going to be quantity. So next we are going to create another table data, right? We close the table data. Close the table data. We create another tag, PHP. Then we echo $row price, right? PRICE, echo price. Then next we have total, right? So you remember we created a variable, this here. We created a variable total, which will hold the total price, and we said the total price is going to be the price times quantity. That will give you the total, right? So what we do here now is we are also going to create another table data, right? TD, and then PHP echo. So we are echoing the variable now, $item total. That is what you will be echoing, the variable item total. So after that, we now close this tag that we opened here for querying. What is it called? For querying the products, right? For fetching the products. For fetching the product, we now close it at the bottom here. And after our table, we might want to display the total also. We might want to display the total also, maybe in words or separately. We can now say maybe H3. We now close the H3 tag. Now close the H3 tag. We say your total price, your total amount due is, your total amount due is we now call PHP tag again to give us that. Sorry? Okay, I should scroll up, right? Okay. So now we want to display. Okay, I should come down a little. Okay. So we now want to display the price, maybe underneath the table. We now say echo $total. So after this, let's look at what we are going to get. Total. So after this, we are going to create the login user login / registration.
Sorry, sir.
You create an account. Sorry. Okay.
Did we create any variable name total?
Yes, we created a variable named total.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after this, we are going to create a login registration as well as an admin panel. The admin panel is rather than we go to the backend and add product, we are going to add the product from the front end. We add the products to it from the front end. So let me know when you're done copying. Yes? Okay. So to give your table maybe a little bit of meaning, here we can say border. We can add border equals to 1. That's how to spell border, right? Border equals to 1. You can do like this. So it will give your table a little bit of meaning, because as at the moment, if we run it, we will just see we're just going to see the what is it? Yeah, without the border. Yes. So our friends online, are we good? Any challenge? Any challenge? Any issue? All right. It's like we are good. H tree. It means header tree. Yes. All right. All right. So when you're done, let's run our code and see what it gives us. It's like somebody is panicking already. Scroll up a little. All right. Is this okay? Okay. Okay, let me leave it from body to body. Yes. Hmm. So what we've done, so far from the index, you are going to add a product to the cart, right? If you add the product to the cart, now you're able to see the cart. So gradually we move on from the cart to integrate a payment gateway. We are going to implement a payment gateway, so that from there maybe you're able to make a payment, to input your card number, and then, and for you to effect a payment gateway, of course you have to register and verify. You have to register and be verified by those payment gateways. Is it Paystack? Is it Remitter? Is it others? You'll have to register them. They'll give you an API as well as a key. They give you a key, so you can now integrate that into your own system. So you have a shop, you are selling shoes, you have your online shop, you are selling shoes, you are selling belts, you are selling bracelets, you are selling everything. You can do all that. So let me know when you're done so that we can run and see what all these jargons are. Mind you, please always add remember, semicolon. Always add a semicolon and add a semicolon. If not, it will return an error. If not, our code will return an error. My bad. Please, always. Because when you run it now, you get an error. So please always add. It's only when you're working with Python that you don't need to bother about that. So the file we created, this add to cart. Let me interrupt you small. So this add to cart we created, this particular file we created, add to cart. It's just basically doing a back-end transaction for us. It's just a function. This one, it's just doing the back-end transaction for us. It's adding it to the cart, right? But we're not seeing everything. But that's why at the end here it says header location, right? So it will now bring up here. It will now bring us here. Meanwhile, this is the back-end transaction that just happened. This is just a function. You see, there's no any front-end code here. So if from that initial page, it will just direct it from here. It will redirect here, and then here we'll do the transaction in some split seconds, back-end transaction, and then it will show all this. Sorry?
So the add to cart is just like the connection.
Yes. That one will just go, the add to cart will just fetch, we just go to the database, query the database, check if the product exists. If it exists, it returns us an information, right? And then it will add the product to the cart, or it will add it or update it, and then it will show us this page. So that is just basically that add to cart functionality. This please. Yes. Okay, it's product underscore ID, right? We use. Is it not underscore? This one. Okay. I get what you're trying to say. Yeah, here, right? Yes. Thank you. Thank you about that. So are we done? Are we done? Almost. All right.
I'm going to try so that we start troubleshooting.
So that we can start troubleshooting, right?
Yes, sir.
That's that is actually true, because of course definitely there must be errors. That is true. So what some people, how many of you are almost done copying, please? All right, you're almost done. All right. Let's give 2 minutes before we run, so that we'll be on the same page. So that even if it's a troubleshooting, we can start debugging together. Yes. That same place. What did you name it in your table? It's products. The table is products. The table has an S, if I remember. The field does not have an S. Okay. All right. Which is the field in the products table? I'm sorry, please let me interrupt you. You mean which of the tables? Is it the products table? We have a product. Okay, product ID. Okay, yes. It doesn't have an S. It doesn't have an S. All these kind of things, they are the ones that will be giving you error. All these many mistakes, these many errors. They can give you serious problems, as small as they are, as tiny as they seem. They can give you serious problems. We look at them to ensure that So with these kind of delays and that we keep having, if probably maybe per adventure by the end of the program we're not able to complete the project, I will bundle something. I will make them available to you so that you can go ahead on your own and then you can work on it. I will arrange something for you so that you can, and I'll put it up on the platform. You can always have access to it. You can do your modifications, play around with it, so many other things. Because probably by the end, maybe I would like to see some of you have something up and running on the net. If it's yes, if it's an e-commerce website, also like for your business, for those of us that are into business, or if it's a website or a portal or anything that's relating to your business, your forward moving forward and all that. Yes, there will be mentorship. Yes. Hmm? All right. Come in.
Which one? It's not my mind. Sorry, no, please just carry it. Yeah, I'm good. When they say arrange, something like collection of data. So that's what that one is really. So it's going to give us like an array of those book.
All right, okay.
So for that, who sorry, the front end exists, so and then the server exists. So the thing should be like the connection between the front end, the conversation between the front end and the so normally when you want to do this, because because when you post out say including front end and so the front end is a result of what the next piece
The one that we just demonstrate Yes. Sorry? You've tested yours. Ah, that's great. This Baba is moving faster. He doesn't have the patience to wait for us, and he's doing well. Oh. See, he has put some meaning into it, some more adjustment that we've not even done. So let's run our own and see. Let me see. Oh, okay, really making sense. But you did some adjustments, right? Sorry? Use Bootstrap. See, that's great. That's what's up. That is what is up. So let's run our and then move on. Let's run our this and then move on. So nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So I'm getting your kind of error now. So this is it, right? Line 33. Come in. It's only what? It's only add card that appear. Okay, you know why you're having that problem? I remember. You see, echo. You said that integration PHP right now, and we are saying echo, right? Echo issued output. So from this point, we are saying it should output everything from here to this point. That is why it's giving us that error. Initially, what we wanted it to do, it should output the result onto this variable. So, sorry. Yes, not to make it out. So that is why we're having that error. So now it's instead of outputting it to that particular variable, it's now outputting it out for us to see. So yes, that is why we are having that error. So let's try and adjust it. Are you all having the same error? You are not having the same error, right? You don't
Yes,
have,
I encountered the same thing.
you encountered the
But
same.
it is not, from the table, from our database table.
Yes.
It is not dot catch the product ID.
Sorry, I didn't understand what you said. I didn't get what you said.
From this table, from this table, it is not catch the product ID. So it is not understanding it. That's why
Yes.
I have to assign it as it will
Okay,
select
yes.
this one as catch product ID as
That
it is here.
that is true.
As it is here.
Mm,
Product ID.
mm.
So that is this. That is the problem.
Rather than doing this, you can just rather than using the as, you can also like select cat underscore product ID. Rather than as.
I should do.
But like this too is okay. Like this too is okay. Mm. Product ID. Right? Yeah. So that is it. It's time. So I don't know how we are going to do. So have you? Are you done? Talking? Yes. Sorry. What is happening?
You are not feeling it. You are not feeling it.
Let's go back. I think it's an error. Is an error from our own side. From yeah, HP equal. Let me do like this. Dollar underscore post. Dollar underscore. Hmm. It says $, get ID. So good. Uh, saying what? Mm-mm. All right, so it's like mm, so it's like we have a little bit error and it's time. So I don't know whether we stop here till I try to debug against. Sorry.
The query was not in code.
Sorry.
For line 11, the query is not in code.
It's not in quotes. Ah, that's true. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't pass the ID. I'm trying to check the syntax error. But uh, let me use one because we already have one as the ID inside the database. So let's use one. Yes, to test it. SQL dot exception error unknown column product ID. So there's an error products ID. There's nothing like products ID in the database. Let's look at this one has product ID. So let's look at the products table. Okay, this is the products table, right? So let's look at the cart table. Okay, product. So there's nothing like products. Where did I use the products? Unknown column product ID in the clause the cart.php. So, so there's nothing like where did I use products? Sorry?
Check the end of this query. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So all these small things. So, because sorry, still the cat, right? Okay, let me confirm from the database. See the product we have. Okay, yeah, it is.
So does it mean we have products that product ID?
Yes, but however, from the back end here, it has already entered the product. You see, it has already populated this table. It has already populated the table with the product information on the cards. This is it. So let's look at where the error is coming from. Yes, this one right here. Yes, it should be products dot product ID. Is it ducts or duct?
Yes, the table.
Sure. Okay, the table. Okay, the table here. The table is products. So okay. So you see.
Not that ID, but product ID.
Yes, is products dot. The last one. This here should be products dot product. Yes. Here it should be products. The table right dot product ID. Yes. So the results now. What is displaying now in our cart? Showing it's displaying our cart. So what is showing we don't have anything inside the cart. And then the product is 0. All that. Yes. So from next class, it's a past time. So from next class, we will see how we can add the products to it, and then displaying it and all that. Okay, in this query, inside your cart.php, here it should be products dot product ID rather than just product ID. Initially, I used the product ID, but it should be products dot product ID. Yeah, products dot product ID. Yes, underscore ID. The products underscore ID. Yes.
Please, can I see your index line 28?
Sorry?
Index line 28.
Okay, index line 28. This is how index line 28 looks like. So let's see underscore ID equals to, yeah, yours has not affected. Okay, I'm coming. Look at the problem.
Here's this one. So we have an issue here. This one is showing the remaining icons. So
It's not showing the remaining icons.
let's this one. That's also the short entities.
Is that product beside this? Okay, so probably so this condition is not met. That's why I should turn this condition. So now what we are going to do is
But that is a situation that I cannot initiate. Let's say we don't want
the code from the index of the sorry from what is it called? That's
I think yeah.
this condition is not met. So that's what you want to understand. Let's look at the table. You're saying there is
There was inside the table. All right. So what will happen? So as it's part time, so let's stop here, and then we can continue from next class. By the grace of God, I will see what we can do to rush next class and see how we finish the entire develop the entire product we are trying to develop. So for our online people, thank you very much for your patience. Same time next week. Thank you very much, and do have a great day. Do have a great day. Thank you. So okay, I'm coming. Sorry? It's not give you a blank page after you refresh. So probably there's an issue with the. I'm coming.
Okay,